Yo, what's up, your boy Domuto. We back from another video today watching Solid Saiyan, and we're watching What If Goten Was, what if Goten was Gohan's twin, part 3. Alright. Shit, man. As we seen so far in the story that, the niggas just get hella strong. You know what I'm saying? And I love it, so we're gonna get into it.
The Saiyan saga, we go off into space for a bit. Vegeta returns to base to heal up, and while he's in the healing pod, he's thinking to himself, he wants those Dragon Balls. Those same things that were able to bring Kakarot back. He doesn't know what he'll use them for exactly just yet, but they're definitely valuable. Having the power to wish for anything that he wants, that could be amazing. That would be his ticket to defeating Frieza. And not just that, getting revenge on Raditz too. Those Saiyans on Earth, they annoy him to no end. He'll beat Kakarot and Raditz, putting them back in their place. As for those two hybrid Saiyans, he's not too sure, but he definitely won't forget about them either. But once Vegeta's fully healed, he realizes that Frieza's army is moving on some other place. Just like normal, Frieza did learn of the Dragon Balls too, so he's going to Namek now. Pretty much unopposed as well. And with haste, Vegeta gets a spaceship and goes right for Namek. This is obviously a very bad situation for Namek. Without Goku's group there to help protect them, well, they don't really have much that they can do. A lot of the villages are wiped out. Some of the Namekians try to recover the planet too.
Are they not going to Namek?
Some are able to escape covertly. They had to escape before during that great storm many years ago. And some of these Namekians, mainly the ones who can't fight, they know that they have to leave in order for Namek to survive. But not many make it off the planet. A lot of them die on the planet. Or, in an effort to fight off Frieza's army, some of them even fuse. Of course, Vegeta gets there, and he gets into some trouble too, barely surviving. He ends up killing Kui, and he actually ends up getting stopped by Zarbon and Dodoria too. Thankfully, Vegeta hasn't done too much that Frieza knows about. So, there's no basis to kill him, just the fact that he's here and he killed Kui. But they've been known to hate each other for a while, so that kinda makes sense. But Zarbon easily defeats Vegeta, gravely injuring him, but keeping him alive because Frieza knows that Vegeta might have some info on the Dragon Balls. As a last resort, many of the warrior Namekians fuse together, using Nail as a host. Their combined power is actually enough to ward off a lot of Frieza's army. But once they get to the stronger ranks, Frieza himself has to step in. If only Nail had more warriors fuse into him, he would have been able to defend the planet. But Frieza's army killed so many of them by now that this is all they can muster. Frieza is impressed at this Namekian's power. 300k, that is pretty great, especially for a Namekian. Although, that doesn't even come close to the full power of his first form, which is only one of 4 forms. Frieza hates to have to get his hands dirty, but he kills Nail on his own, knowing that all his soldiers will be killed if he doesn't. And without those soldiers, it's going to be a lot harder to find the Dragon Balls across the planet. But thankfully this does slow down Frieza's army a bit. They do gather all the Dragon Balls together, but then they realize that they don't have a password for the Dragon Balls. They don't know how to speak Namekian. Most of the Namekians in their way were slaughtered. Any survivors escaped the planet or just hid away. The only Namekian that they know of that's left is Guru. So some of the soldiers are sent out to get him. But by the time they get to Guru, he's dead. From all the stress that this has caused, this accelerated his death. Not only does Frieza not have the password for the Dragon Balls, now they're dead. They can't even be used. Namek did suffer a terrible blow, but thankfully Frieza didn't get his immortality. And thankfully for Vegeta, he ended up barely scraping by. Especially because Frieza wants more info about the Dragon Balls. He doesn't know who else will be able to tell him about them. It seems like all the Namekians are dead, and Vegeta seems to be his last shot at getting some more information. But he's healing right now, so Frieza has to wait for a bit. King Kai is watching the entire time too, saddened that Namek is completely barren now. At least some of the members of the race are still out there, and maybe they can even find a new Guardian. But they're going to have to wait a while to rebuild, especially if they want to go back to that planet in general. They may need a completely new home, but at least Namekians have experience with this. The remaining Namekian survivors split up, with some sticking together, but mostly it's just small groups or individuals. Vegeta eventually does wake up again, having grown stronger from being attacked by Zarbon and Dodoria. And Frieza immediately interrogates him. Do more Dragon Balls exist on that planet Vegeta was on? That's where they found out about them from anyways, so there should be something there. But Vegeta quickly comes up with a lie. Not to protect that planet, but to protect the Dragon Balls for himself because he knows that planet is the last resort for him. Frieza even says that he'll forgive him for killing Kui, knowing that the two have always hated each other. And he knows Vegeta only fought Zarbon and Dodoria because they were sent to stop Vegeta anyways. But again, Frieza will forgive all of that if Vegeta just gives him the info on that planet. At some point in the battle, his scouter was destroyed, and Frieza wants to fill in the gaps. Why are Raditz and Nappa not there? What ended up happening on Earth anyways? Vegeta simply says that after his scouter was destroyed, that traitor Raditz ended up killing Nappa. Vegeta took it upon himself to eliminate Raditz as well, also lying and saying he wasn't sure why Raditz went to that planet in the first place. And unfortunately for him, it seemed that idiot killed the Namekian that made the Dragon Balls there. Raditz went on a killing spree and Vegeta was the one who stopped him. All the strong warriors on that planet were killed, and there's no Namekian there either, meaning no Dragon Balls. Frieza buys this because that adds up. He knows Raditz disappeared a while ago, and them dying like that would make sense. He doesn't think that Vegeta would kill 2 of the last remaining Saiyans, and if he knew about the Dragon Balls too, he wouldn't have been responsible for killing that Namekian either. Frieza's gonna keep the planet in mind just in case, but this story does add up. And as for the others on Earth besides the Namekian, Raditz, and Nappa, they're unimportant. It seems they all died anyways. And Vegeta's glad this went well. He has to plan on his next move though. Frieza's probably suspicious enough of him, and he's interested in finding those hybrid Saiyans again. Maybe they could be Super Saiyans, which could be good because he could use them against Frieza, although it's unlikely they'll join him. They also could be a threat to Vegeta, which is another reason why he might be able to just kill them right away. And besides, at their current level, Frieza's still too much. Let's actually go over to Earth now. Immediately after the battle with Vegeta, Goku decides that Gohan and Goten need some more proper training. Piccolo and Raditz did teach them some good things. With Raditz, they learned a little bit more about their Saiyan side, and as for Piccolo, he's an actual martial artist, so they did learn some good things from him. But Goku wants better training for them. He knows that Roshi and Kami might be able to really help out here, and Roshi's glad to take the two students. Although he's not sure how much they'll learn.
Not Roshi.
He's never had to teach students this powerful before. But at least from the martial arts side, there's a lot they can learn from
Gohan
Roshi.
never
The
trained
two
with
join the
Roshi,
Turtle
that's
School
right.
eventually do
Or
go to Kami
Goten.
as well. And Goku makes sure they actually climb up the tower. He knows they could fly by now, but he wants them to do it the old-fashioned way. Although, that's not really an issue for them. And it's not even the first time they've been at Kami's lookout. Well, it looks like all the training Goku got as a kid isn't going to work for them. In terms of power, they've done all they could on Earth. But in terms of technique, Kami still has a lot that he could teach. So they train directly under him, and they do way better than Goku did as a kid. Obviously they would. But Kami notes something interesting that Goku might want to take note of. They have their tails again. It seems during the battle with the Saiyans, they grew back and no one even acknowledged it. Thankfully Vegeta never made the artificial moon because the two would have transformed and been unstable. Yeah, that never actually occurred to him that they're back. Goku knows now about the Great Apes and the fact that he was the one responsible for killing Grandpa Gohan, so he's not too sure how to feel about this. It didn't even occur to him that the tails grew back. I mean, he was used to seeing the tails all the time in the first place. Actually, he didn't even realize they were removed in general. And he knows that Kami ended up removing his tail a while ago, but as for these two kids, maybe they have a chance at actually learning to use that power. Besides, having a tail in battle is great because it's an extra appendage to use.
True.
They basically have 3 arms, and you know what? They could learn the 4 witches technique, and then they'll have 5 arms. Of course, he's just joking around with Kami because that would probably freak Chi-Chi out and she wouldn't like that. But at the very least for their tails, yeah, they can keep them. He just has to ask Raditz about it, and Raditz tells his brother to relax. He's actually glad their tails grew back. One of the big reasons he stayed on this planet is because he wanted to see how his nephews grew as warriors. They're such a rarity amongst Saiyans. They're twins. They're hybrid Saiyans. Both of those things combined together too. It clearly is influencing their potential somehow. And Raditz says he'll take it upon themselves to teach them Great Ape. Goku and that Namekian god, whoever he is, sure, they could teach Gohan and Goten some martial arts trickery or whatever. But Raditz wants them to be true Saiyan warriors. He wants to teach them how to use the Great Ape form. And you know, Goku doesn't agree with that obviously, but hey, he wants them to learn that form at least, so they go along with it. Goku actually did want to bring the 2 kids to King Kai, but Chi-Chi didn't let him, which is especially reasonable because it's been a year since she last saw them, as well as Goku too. She wants them to stay here, but they compromise. She will let the kids train as long as they keep up with their studying, but they can't leave Earth and they can't be fully focused on training. And she wants Goku present the entire time. She doesn't want Piccolo or their creepy uncle to kidnap them again. She's honestly not sure why he left Raditz alive in the first place, but Goku assures her that they'll both soften up. He hopes
that is
Besides,
pretty
Raditz
valid.
is too busy going on bar crawls anyways, and Piccolo's usually off on his own. Gohan and Goten eventually do learn how to control their Great Ape form, which will be huge in battle, both literally and figuratively. And a few months pass during this training. Goku, Raditz, and even Piccolo want to test the limit of their powers. Especially since Vegeta is still alive, they know he could probably attack again. The 5 of them all need to grow as strong as they can, especially those 2 kids who show the greatest potential of all. As for Raditz, he also wants to surpass his brother. They've had their rematch already, but Goku won without even using Kaioken, and Raditz wants to find his own way to win. Not just that, but he tells Kakarot, next time he sees Vegeta, no matter what his brother says, he's gonna kill him. Goku actually hopes he doesn't, but knowing that Raditz is pretty stubborn, he could tell his older brother is serious. Raditz is gonna also try to exploit Zenkais with intense training, which does help for a bit, but in terms of getting power, there's more than just getting raw strength. Goku says he's too stuck training just his body. They need to train their minds as well. Maybe the two could really help each other. You know, besides the fact of them being brothers. Goku's a master martial artist, while Raditz, he's a soldier with knowledge on Saiyan warriors. The two have different areas of expertise that they can each teach each other on. Goku can learn more about how to power up as a Saiyan.
That do make sense now, because just getting Zenkais don't help the Saiyans just get stronger. Because that was true, then future Gohan could have easily beat the androids. You know, you gotta train your mind, your body, you know what I'm saying? Well, what that Roshi saying, train hard, eat well, rest well, some shit. You gotta do that to get strong.
Or Raditz can get some martial arts experience to get better techniques. As for Gohan and Goten, it's clear that the two are actually great fighters by now. They have training from multiple different people. Piccolo and Raditz taught them a good amount of stuff, but now they have training from Goku, Roshi, Korin, and Kami. All great teachers who could teach unique things. They know how to harness their powers pretty well too. Raditz suspects that they will be the Super Saiyans that Vegeta and Nappa theorized about, although he still has no clue what a Super Saiyan really is. But if there is a Super Saiyan, those two are probably going to be that. Is the Super Saiyan a person, a type of power, a state of being, a transformation? He doesn't know. But his nephews will become Super Saiyans, and then he'll follow. And the idea does intrigue Goku too. What is a Super Saiyan and how could he become one? Everyone on Earth has their own motivations going forward, but we go back out into space for a bit. After this time skip of a few months, let's see what's been happening with Vegeta. He spent this time growing more powerful, being sent on more missions, but not really for good reasons. Frieza continues to use Vegeta more and more as a soldier, giving him less freedom and scrutinizing everything he does. It's to the point where he's trying to instill fear and paranoia into Vegeta.
Damn.
He's always being watched. Frieza wants to make sure he's compliant, wants to make sure Vegeta knows his place. He could see that Vegeta wants to betray him. He knows that's going to happen someday. So he's going to break Vegeta physically and mentally, hoping he dies in one of his missions,
stay strong,
or
nigga.
just goes insane from the paranoia and fear that he's feeling. And Frieza loves this. Vegeta is the last Saiyan out there. And look how pathetic the Saiyans are now. Just one. Just the Prince of no one. He is growing stronger, but he's not going to be a threat. Especially because one day, Frieza decides that he's had his fun. He wants Vegeta gone for good, especially because he could grow stronger, and that could actually be an issue. So he's sent on a mission, one with Zarbon and Dodoria, who have also grown a bit stronger too. And Vegeta is powerful, but not powerful enough to fight both of them at once, especially with their growth too. They have been training. They are Frieza's top soldiers after all, so they have to be as strong as they can. And it seems like a very normal mission at first. It's actually not that tough. The missions complete relatively easily, and it's time to head back to base. Zarbon and Dodoria turn their scouters off, with Zarbon then swiping a hand in front of Vegeta's face, grabbing his scouter and crushing it. So, the time has finally come. Vegeta knew this would happen eventually, but didn't expect it to be today. He hopes they don't expect this to be easy. Frieza's a fool for just sending the two of them out here. If they really wanted Vegeta dead, he should have done more. But Zarbon tells Vegeta he won't let him live this time. The two know how Vegeta fights. They know how to counter him perfectly. Individually, Vegeta does overpower them, but he's outnumbered here. Zarbon immediately transforms, annoyed that he even has to do this, but he wants to make sure the job's done right. Vegeta right now is at a solid power level of 50,000. Unfortunately for him, his tail never grew back, but he's still strong, so that's great. Zarbon's at 45k in his monster form, and Dodoria is at 30k. The battle begins. At first it seems like Vegeta has the upper hand, but he gets overwhelmed pretty quickly. If he just had one of them alone, that would have been an easy victory, but he can't split them up. They know he's going to try and do that, so they prevent that from happening. Dodoria is obviously taking a lot of damage here, but with the two of them together, it makes it tougher for Vegeta to just focus on one of them. He has to defend against Zarbon's attacks, and while he is stronger than Zarbon, it's by a relatively small amount. Zarbon is able to injure him, especially with another fighter alongside him.
Damn.
The battle isn't too spectacular, and it's relatively short. Zarbon does take a bit of damage, but overall is fine. Dodoria and Vegeta, though, they're both badly injured, and Zarbon can see that the battle is almost over. He tells Dodoria to sit this one out. He'll finish it off. Zarbon and Vegeta battle one-on-one, and Vegeta's too injured to do anything. He tries to fight the best he can, but Zarbon has already claimed victory. Slowly and brutally, Vegeta's beaten even more, with Zarbon grabbing onto his face, slamming him to the ground, driving him into the dirt, then stomping him further into the ground. Zarbon looks down at Vegeta with disgust, wiping blood from his face, annoyed that Vegeta made him look like this. But he takes solace in the fact that this is a pathetic end for Vegeta. They have all the info that they need about the Dragon Balls. Vegeta's barely given any more. It's not like he had much more anyways. They could tell that he's useless to them now. Actually, not just useless, a liability. He should be thankful that they gave him a few extra months of life and didn't just kill him immediately. Zarbon points a finger at him, charging a small beam in front of it, directly copying Frieza's death beam. Vegeta can't even stand up. He's fuming. The rage he feels at them, himself, everything. How did it turn out like this? Embarrassed by Raditz and his low-class family, spit on by Frieza, and now being mocked like this by Zarbon and Dodoria.
Oh shit, come on Vegeta.
He's dying to them. It's so undignified. He can't die here though. He's the prince. This isn't how he'll go out. There's a way out of this. Saiyans always come back. But is this actually true, or is he just coping with the inevitable? A part of him knows that this might be truly over. Zarbon simply says goodbye, launching the beam right at Vegeta's head. A direct, clean, precise hit. He didn't want to get his hands dirty after all, with Vegeta motionless and lifeless on the ground. They turn to their ship and walk away. Their scouters broke during battle, but once they get back on the ship, they have an extra that'll let them contact Frieza. Zarbon carries Dodoria towards the ship, but Zarbon sees something weird. There's a shadow that he's casting, and not from the sun, it's from some other light source. Something's glowing behind them, and Zarbon hears a voice that he's surprised to hear, asking them where they're going. It's Vegeta's voice, and he says they're not done here. He's somehow standing there, bleeding from his forehead. The laser only left a flesh wound. How did he survive that? And despite barely being able to stand, Vegeta starts glowing. His aura grows fiercer, turning golden. He then lets out a powerful scream. There's a brilliant flash of light, and suddenly, Dodoria disappears, eradicated by a blast, and Zarbon feels a sharp pain in his chest. Looking down to see Vegeta's hand is pierced right through him. But there's no confusion as to what happened. He knows exactly what killed him. especially because Vegeta wants him to see what's going to happen. He gets a glimpse at what's about to occur. As the blinding light clears, Zarbon clearly sees Vegeta standing there, with golden hair, a twisted grin on his face. He weakly chuckles too. Frieza will be quite surprised by this, won't he? Even Vegeta himself is surprised. A blast then rockets through Zarbon's chest, killing him. And Vegeta has no doubts about what he's become. He laughs and proclaims his victory to no audience around him. He doesn't need those hybrids or anyone else to help him. He's gonna defeat Frieza. He's the Super Saiyan of legend.
You are, man. They just went straight to the next part. Damn, they ain't let me. Damn, I couldn't react. Damn. Anyway, that was a cool little chapter right there by Charlotte Saiyan. Wasn't much Gohan and Goten parts, but it's a story, so what I'm saying, a little slow burn right there. Anyway, shout out to Charlotte Saiyan for this video. Check out the last chapter right here. Check out another video right here, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.